Dennis. Please just stop. Yeah, so if you aren't already aware, a few videos ago I spoke about Def Noodles, which is like another commentator here on YouTube. Or at least I think commentator is the right word to use, because I think he prefers like stand-up or comedian, but that's not really how anyone sees him. But the reason I spoke about Dennis is because he is someone that I've been aware of for a couple of years now. I always thought he came across as a pretty decent guy, but just recently, he seems to have had a bit of a meltdown, you know, went off the rails. I'm trying to say this in the nicest way possible. He just seems to be very, very angry whilst he angrily tells people that he's the happiest he's ever been.
I'm doing just fine. I'm literally the happiest I've ever been in my entire life.
Yeah, you have a very weird way of showing it, mate. So the very basic rundown of my previous video was the fact that Def Noodles and a YouTuber called Papa Gut have kind of been going at each other for a little while now. In fact, they had a debate about 5 months ago in which Def Noodles came across a little bit cringy, kind of just got very angry, funny enough, for no reason, and then he ended up apologising.
I have to keep working on myself so that this kind of situation never happens again.
And then all of a sudden, the drama started rising again recently, and Def Noodles went on a bit of a Twitter rampage, saying that Papa Gut looked like a paedophile, said in quotation marks that he's known for joking about being a paedophile, almost insinuating that they weren't jokes and he was being serious. And then the worst part of it all, in my opinion, he then started selling a t-shirt of Papa Gut crying about his own wife's essay, because that's a normal thing to do. Like, to me, it just came across as borderline bullying at that point, and I know Dennis will have a field day with me saying that. He'll just be all like, no, it's just comedy, man. How is comedy turned into bullying? But he just kept showing a picture of Papa Gut crying about his wife's essay, like, how is that funny? But it turns out Def Noodles did see my last video, and I don't know how to say this, but he unfollowed me on Twitter. As you can imagine, this did hit me hard. I started to rethink my actions, but you know what? If this is the backlash that I've got to take to fight for what's right, then I'll do it, okay? I'm just trying to be brave. Honestly, I wasn't even going to do a follow-up video on Def Noodles. In fact, I've spent the last few days working on a much bigger video that I'm quite happy with. I just need to do a few more tweaks, so, I mean, whilst we're here, if you do want to subscribe if you're new, that should hopefully be a good one. But it's hard to ignore everything that's going on. Honestly, looking at Def Noodles' Twitter account right now, you feel like you're in a simulation. In a very weird twist in the story, it turns out that Def Noodles has been lying about his age. Instead of being 27, he's actually 37.
So essentially there's a 10-year difference on what's shown here and what my actual age is. This has been like a weird thing because, like I said, I didn't expect to like fucking have a following or any. This was supposed to be my side hustle. It wasn't supposed to be my life.
Now here's the thing, I'm really not even that bothered about Def Noodles lying about his age because he didn't do anything really like creepy whilst he was lying about his age like people who spoke about it in the past. The thing I am bothered about is, you're 37! Why are you acting like a child? Like, even at 27, the actions that we've seen on Twitter would still be quite worrying. But at 37, you're responding to people like the way you have been over the past couple of weeks? Like, in every single sense of the phrase. Act your age, mate. But let's get into Dennis's Twitter antics over the past couple of days, because it's been a sight to behold. For example, he responded to this video called "Proof People See Def Noodles as a Journalist, Not a Comedian," to which Dennis says, "The fact people want me to be a journalist so bad just proves how unequivocally stupid the media landscape has become. I have said millions of times that I'm not a journalist, and the fact that people take me as a serious news source is a joke in of itself." Which already is a bit of a weird response, because even though I definitely don't see Def Noodles as a journalist, he can't just use the excuse of his show's being comedy the whole time because he spoke about people like James Charles and his grooming allegations, the Lopez brothers and their grooming allegations. Like, it's not all jokes, is it? But what makes this tweet quite funny is that the video he's responding to has 15 views. He's writing a paragraph on Twitter, pissed off at the fact that someone's called him a journalist, but the person who's called him it doesn't really matter, like no one's seen it. Now someone actually pointed this out to Dennis and said, that video currently only has 15 views. Nobody with any credibility or clout in this space considers you a journalist. Even a comedian is pushing it. To which Dennis gracefully responds by saying, "Get off my dick. I know you like the way it tastes, but I don't fuck with dirty hoes like you." That's a real tweet, by the way. I would love to say I've edited that, but he actually sat there and written it. But his responses did get a lot better because someone tweeted him saying, "You want to educate others on comedy so we can understand your jokes? Genius." To which Def Noodles responded saying, "Go educate yourself at the end of the barrel of a loaded shotgun, eh?" Isn't that lovely? Like, Def Noodles has really been trying to go for the shock humour recently, but he misses out half the phrase. Like, this tweet here is just shock. I mean, he hasn't even attempted a punchline. Like, he's basically just said, kill yourself. Now, obviously, people were pissed off with this tweet, so Dennis did respond to the criticism and said, I'm appalled that Def Noodles would do such a thing. I've been a fan for a long time, but this is absolutely disgusting. He should be banned from all platforms immediately. At Twitter support, please look into this Def Noodles character. He sounds dangerous. Cancel him immediately. And I've got to say, it's very brave of Dennis to tag Twitter support in this tweet, because the last time his Twitter account did get banned, he didn't shut up about it for the best part of a year. But also, I feel like we've came to a good conclusion now that Dennis is a bit of a man-child. 37-year-old man-child at that. He's just acting like a kid, isn't he? And I feel like he'll probably look back at this in a few years' time and think, oh god, was I actually saying stuff like that? It's just a bit cringe, isn't it? Oh, speaking of cringe, by the way, our very own stand-up comedian Def Noodles has decided to resort to your mum jokes. The only person getting molested here is me by your mum. Hey. That's funny. And you've got to remember, Dennis is currently selling tickets to his, new studio to do a roast battle where he's going to do some stand-up, and he's been bigging it up as if this stand-up show is going to change the world. I mean, he literally described it 13 hours ago as witnessing history in the making. And I've got to be honest, I was a little curious, what type of roast would we be able to see here? If we really are seeing history in the making, it's got to be some good shit. Right? Tag a snowflake down below and I'll roast them. Motherfucker looks like an aborted Mrs. Potato Head. I'm not even really sure what that means, to be honest. Motherfucker taught everyone how to ruin a successful, literally, career in 280 characters. I mean, that also doesn't really make much sense, but very ironic to talk about ruining careers. Motherfucker looks like he eats ass and doesn't clean his mouth before kissing his kids goodnight. That's a pleasant image, isn't it? Motherfucker looks like a great value tailor holder. Yeah, that's the standard apparently. And last but not least, motherfucker looks like a defective Lego. And yeah, I mean this in the nicest way possible. It might be time to take comedian out of the bio. Now, in all seriousness, he can call himself whatever he wants. It doesn't make a difference to me. But if this is the standard of the roast battle that he's currently selling tickets to, I don't exactly think it's going to be witnessing history in the making. But then we got a lovely tweet to end the Twitter meltdown, and Def says, I'm far beyond from giving a fuck. I'm so far beyond giving a fuck that I'm monetizing the hatred that all the trolls and the bandwagon haters have been aiming at me. So keep doing your thing, trolls. I'm going to keep doing mine. The only difference that I'm making off you. Like, this guy really needs to start proofreading his tweets, doesn't he? But also, there's nothing that screams not giving a fuck quite like having to tell people constantly that you don't give a fuck. Like, he obviously cares. He hasn't shut up about it for the past, 2 or 3 weeks now. Like, he cares a lot. In fact, he cares so much that he has just released a new 19-minute video addressing the new allegations.
I'm going to respond to some comments that exemplify some of the more popular things people have been saying in my comments, so let's get to it.
Okay, I mean, this is a good start. He's going to actually address the comments of what people have been saying. Hopefully, he actually takes some accountability and maybe does listen to people and what they have to say and doesn't just get defensive, but I guess we'll find out.
Is Dennis friends with Addison Rae's dad or something? He keeps taking his side, which is very confusing given the situation. I am friends with Addison Rae's dad. If you watched the podcast, you would already know. He popped in a couple of times.
I mean, to be fair, that isn't very shocking anymore. They are quite similar in age and they both act like children, so I can see how they could get along.
Not afraid to take unpopular positions in situations, especially when I know some of the people involved and have a broader perspective on what's happening.
I mean, fair enough, if Dennis does like Monty, who am I to say that you shouldn't, but there's definitely enough public information to have a negative opinion on Monty Lopez. I mean, literally just a few days ago, Monty Lopez shamed 24-year-old Tana Mojo for her body count. Like, this guy's a father. So yeah, like I said, I'm not very surprised that they get along. They have a very similar mental age and a very similar physical age. So, I mean, it's a match made in heaven.
Why are you lecturing people still watch you on trolls? Your comment section has been people trying to help you. I don't know what you're doing. This is a logical fallacy from beginning to end. First off, me sharing my thoughts in a comedic manner, making a bit out of trolling the trolls, is me expressing something that I'm going through in the way that I best know how to do.
Yes, Dennis, but you trolling the trolls isn't you doing a really funny bit. It's just you getting very angry at people and not listening to what they have to say, and it just being really obnoxious, to be honest. I mean, if that's the way that you want to go about it, then fine, but you seem to be the only person who thinks that this is the right way to go about it. Literally 99% of your comment section are telling you otherwise. Like, they all can't be wrong.
I'm currently, literally, receiving hundreds, if not thousands of messages every week telling me to off myself.
I mean, yeah, but you just did that, like, 2 days ago. And under no circumstances should anyone say that to anybody. You shouldn't say that to Dennis. Dennis shouldn't say it to anybody else. Just never say that. It's a horrible thing to say. But if Dennis is going to try and sit there and be like, well, mine was a joke and theirs wasn't, they can use the exact same excuse because yours didn't have a punchline. You literally just told someone to shoot themselves with a shotgun. They could use the same excuse regardless of what they said. Like, it's the same shit.
I make these videos for fun, and I'm going to make them however the fuck I want to make them for the audience that enjoys them.
Which is absolutely fine. You can make the videos however you want to make them, but people can still criticize you however they want to, because you've done it daily for the past 3 years. Like, if someone like Emma Chamberlain came out and was like, why is everyone hating on me? I just want to make videos how I want to make them. Why does everyone have an opinion on me? Then that would be kind of understandable, because she doesn't really ever talk shit about anybody. But Dennis, it's your job, and you've probably done it more than anyone else over the past few years, because like I said, you've been uploading daily and you speak about multiple people in each video, so how can you use the excuse?
And you can either be excited and want to come along with me, or you can complain. And honestly, if you're part of the latter, then I just feel bad for you, because I don't give a fuck about your complaints.
I mean, you do. You give a huge fuck. In fact, the biggest of fucks.
I don't care that you didn't like the background. I don't care that you saw some random flaw in a video that I made a couple of weeks ago. I am not here to make videos for the complainers.
Bloody hell, this is kind of just coming across like he's spitting in the face of his audience at this point, isn't it? I mean, just out of curiosity, I wanted to see the people complaining about the background and whatnot, so I've just clicked on one of his random videos to see what the top comments are, so let's go through them. I think if you fix the lighting, people wouldn't think you're being held hostage, haha, but I like this format. Some lighting, background, and audio enhancements would be appreciated, but regardless, your news updates are appreciated. I look forward to them. Today's show felt a little awkward, but I guess it's the first time you didn't use a green screen. I do prefer the former format, but we'll watch regardless. These people are hardly complaining, this is just advice. I think one thing that I've realised over the past couple of weeks with Dennis is that his ego is very, very fragile. He can't take criticism very well at all, and it's quite ironic considering he's been doing it for the past few years, but bloody hell, man, like, I've seen a lot harsher criticisms in the past.
I make content for my fan base. The people who actually fuck with me.
Yeah, but it is your fan base who are giving you these criticisms. You know, the people who do fuck with you. Like, just because they fuck with you doesn't mean they're not allowed to say anything negative about the videos or just any criticisms in the lighting or the audio or anything like that. Like, I've had that so many times in the past. I've tried doing formats where I had a green screen. People didn't like it, so I kind of stopped doing it. I had a time when I used to use the lapel mic, but the audio wasn't as good as this mic, and people told me that, so I started using this mic again. I still get criticisms about my background now because, let's be honest, it's boring as fuck. These are all valid criticisms, but it doesn't mean they hate me. Like, you can disagree with someone you like. That's not impossible. In fact, I've just had a quick little scroll down into the comment section of this specific video, and the top comments are all people who are fans and are giving criticisms and feel like they have just kind of been spat in their face, basically, by Dennis. I think it's obviously a combination of a few things. The fact that he is a bit of a man-child, his ego is fragile, and he's very delusional as well. Like, I believe he genuinely has convinced himself that these people who are criticising him are just mad haters, you know? People are just out there to see Dennis burn. But it's just not true. In fact, it couldn't be any further from the truth. The majority of these people in the comment section are actually your fans, and you're letting them down.
Damn, I hate Dennis's takes. He's like the worst of both sides. So don't watch my videos. Literally, no one is forcing you to watch my videos.
But we could say that about every single video that you've made. Like, I said this in my last video, if there's anyone on this platform who can't use that as an excuse, it's people like you and me. If someone made a video on me right now and I responded by saying, oh, if you don't like me, don't watch me, that would be the most hypocritical thing I could possibly ever say. No one's forced you into watching every David Dobrik video or every Trisha Paytas video or whoever else you spoke about multiple times. No one's done that, but you're still allowed to talk about it, hence why people didn't really have a problem with it. But the fact that you're now using it as an excuse is stupid. It's just dumb.
The universe is billions of years old, constantly expanding at an ever-increasing rate for another billion of billions of years, meaning that our time on this earth, if we live to the average amount of years that an average human exists in this earth for, that's about 70 years, is less than a drop of water in the ocean, then what the actual fuck are people doing, wasting their lives doing something they don't want to be doing?
The fact you can't even see the irony in that entire statement is actually mind-blowing. You have uploaded daily for the past 3 years watching content you don't like. Do you not see the irony? All these people have done is comment on a few videos here and there over the past few weeks. You did it daily for 3 years. He's delusional. This is the main conclusion, right? He's just so delusional.
If you don't like my videos, and they really bother you that much, go watch something else that makes you happy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have to say anything, do I? You get it.
I am here building my dreams. You see this wall behind me? It didn't exist 2 weeks ago.
Whoa! That's fucking mental, to be fair. It's just a strange thing to bring up, isn't it? Like, yeah, I get it. You hired some people to build a wall in your studio. Does that mean we're not allowed to criticize you now? Also, just a side note, 2 weeks is far too long to put up that wall. Like, that should have took a few days at max. Like, you had some slackers working for you, Dennis.
Thirst trapping won't save your views. Ha 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 ha. This person is reacting to a community post I made, which I also made across my other social media pages. Now,
sorry, right? Why are you responding to this? No one's criticizing you for this. That comment you've just read out had 1 like. No one is saying this. Like, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but it does seem like he has just read out that comment in the video so he can show this picture, which is fine. Like, it's whatever. You look great, Dennis. Congratulations.
the logic in that comment just makes no sense. If I were trying to save my views by taking my shirt off, I would do it in a video. It just goes to show how the people who are the most vocal are usually not the sharpest tools in the shed.
But you chose that comment. Like, no one even engaged with the comment. It had 1 like. No one else is even criticizing you for this. And you decided to pick that comment to make them look stupid or to show off your great abs. Like, I can scroll down for 2 seconds on any of your past 20 uploads and see very articulate criticisms that actually mean something, that aren't just, oh, why are you not wearing a shirt? But you've decided to not respond to them. You've decided to respond to people who have, like, spelling mistakes or their criticism doesn't seem warranted because you want to come across as good. Like, it's clear as day.
I love this channel. He's finding his voice. And I don't give a single flying fuck what other opinions exist, frankly. See, these are my true fans. They even talk like me. These are my ride or dies. These are the people who aren't gaslighting in the comments saying, I know him. I've been following him for years. Oh my God, he changed so much. No, these people know me. They're my ride or dies. They relate to the content.
Whoa, wait a second, because just 2 minutes ago, even though I didn't react to it because I didn't have much to say at the time, he just went on a big old rant about how people are being parasocial and they don't know him because they've never met him.
Stop being parasocial. You don't know me.
And now as soon as he gets a comment licking his ass, he's like, oh, these people know me. They're my ride or dies. Make your mind up, Dennis. The amount of irony you've shown in this video is mind-boggling. The fact you can't see it yourself doesn't make sense to me. And I want you to do good. Like, I've literally sent you a DM in the past saying I liked your content from like 2020 or 2019, whenever it was. And I did. I thought you came across well. I thought you came across as a nice, level-headed guy, but this is just something different, man. But either way, that is the Def Noodles update. I would love to know your thoughts down below on things you agree on things you disagree on, believe it or not. You're allowed to do that. But yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like down below. Subscribe if you are new. If you want to let me know topics to talk about in future videos, the best way to do that's on my Instagram. It's @MARKIE. It's always linked in the description. And until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.